Hi guys, welcome to Millennial Talk, the show that talks about issues that affect millennials and how to deal with them. This is the last week of January and I'm so excited, even almost moved to tears, because we have been talking about very insightful subjects since the beginning of the year. And I'd like to say a big thank you to all our viewers. I saw some of the comments, I saw the feedback. Thank you for always staying with us. Well, today, it's not going to be any different from the line of conversation. We are going to be looking at the last beat of the theme for this month, which is financial planning. And today we'll be focusing on financial planning 104, which is the importance of retirement planning. Now, I believe that a lot of people go through life and they do not really bother with what's important for the future, because we have this thing we live by as youths and millennials. YOLO, you only live once. And then have you seen this meme where people go and say, I'm going to spend my last 1K on chicken. If I perish, I perish. Honestly, I laugh when I see things like that. But as we dive right into the conversation, let's take a quick definition of retirement planning. Retirement planning refers to financial strategies of saving, investment, and ultimately distributing money meant to sustain oneself during retirement. According to PENCOM, only 11% of the total working class population are active on Nigeria's contributory pension scheme. Now, this is a low penetration rate in comparison to 19% in South Africa and 77% in the United Kingdom. So if you look at that data, it is almost ridiculous, I'm sorry to say. I cannot, like, the margin gap is this wide. And that is why we decided to have this conversation, so we can inform people on the importance of planning for retirement. But guys, I'm not going to be having this conversation alone. I don't have all the information. So I have a special guest here with me to have this conversation. And it is none other but Kunle Keshiro, Regional Manager, Business Development Division, Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Josephine.
How are you doing today?
I'm
you
I'm
know,
doing so well.
while I was saying the data, you were laughing.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I know he's also hollering at the numbers. What's your take on the figures?
Well, in fact, I think you're an expert already in this subject matter. You spoke so well with regards to pension and investment, at large. And with regards to that statistics, you're actually spot on. There are a lot of people that, really don't believe in what am I saving for the future. So I know what's going to happen the next time. I mean, let me enjoy myself. If I perish, I perish. Like we say,
Yeah, that's common.
But the truth is, we just have to plan for the future. And that statistic is actually quite true, because there's still a lot of people, whether they even want to do it or not is a different, discussion.
Yeah.
But because perhaps they don't have that platform, they feel, how do I do it? And, because of that reason, they don't have a pension plan. And that is why, the National Pension Commission, PENCOM as we call them, has also, come up with what we'll call the micro pension. The micro pension is for the businessman, the businesswoman, the self-employed professionals, the market women, the market men, if you have anything like that, that don't have a structured way of perhaps running their payroll and all of that. They can also tap into the micro pension scheme where they can save for the future.
Right. Fabulous. But let's take it a step backward, because we dived right into the conversation. So I always like my first question to be an introduction of my guest, because I feel like when people see a strange person sitting on the chair, like, okay, who's this guy? First of all, I like to commend your suit. It looks fantastic, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's go straight into it. So give us a brief introduction about yourself and tell us about how you got into this line of work.
Oh, wow. Fantastic question. You already mentioned my name. My name is Kunle Keshiro, and I'm a regional manager, Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, a member of the Standard Bank Group, member of, a very large group for that matter. And I work in the business development division. So basically, I'm a sales guy.
Obviously.
I'm a sales guy and I'm a relationship manager in all. The reason, I remember about over a decade ago when I started my career, I started in also an arm of the business, Islamic IBTC Asset Management, which is also a member of Standard Bank Group. And then I started as a rookie. I was just fresh out of university. I had, in fact, zero marketing skill. I didn't even know anything, with regards to sales. But as, I progressed in the field, I realized that, man, this is the field for me, and I don't think I'm going to trade it, for anything else. And with my experience along the line, I had experience in the supply chain as well. So what I realized is we are either selling something, we are always selling something as an individual. We are selling something, either a product or we are selling some sort of perception, to consumers. So we are all salespeople, and we are also managing people's perception, expectation of us. So I don't think I'll trade this experience for anything else.
Oh, right. I like that. I like where you're coming from and where you are right now. And I know that a lot of people looking at you be like, okay, I definitely can get there, because we've been talking about money this entire month, and we're just trying to encourage as many people as possible. We know that the economy is difficult and all of that, but we believe that this is going to be encouraging to someone out there. Now, let's look at the aspect of when it comes to participation. Let's go back to what we were talking about before. What do you think is the reason for this very low participation? Aside the fun side, when people say, my last 1K, I'm going to spend it today. If I die, I die. Let's look at the serious side of it. Like, why do you think there's very little inclusion when it comes to pension schemes or retirement planning to start with? I understand. Personally, I think that it is as a result of low income. I don't want to blame it, but I want to say that plays a huge role as well. So from your own point of view, as an expert in this field, what is the major problem that you're facing on a daily basis when it comes to these numbers that we looked at earlier?
Okay, just like I mentioned, Josephine, the thing is really about when I say information and people's perception. When people have the right information, there's a lot of things you can do if you have the right information. Maybe because of people's past experience. So maybe before we have the contributory pension scheme, the pension system was a bit, for lack of a better word, quite untidy. So a lot of people have seen maybe their grandpas, their parents go through a whole lot. So like, will I go through this when I retire? No. So when you talk to them about pension, like, please, I beg. Just put that on one side. But the truth is actually important. And again, with regards to low income, I do not 100% totally agree that is the reason. No matter how much money you have, investment is not really about how much you have. It's really about how much you really want to invest and what your plan is. I can have just 100 naira, and my savings might be more than someone that has $1,000 or $1 million naira. So it's not really a function of your income.
It has to do with your attitude towards money.
And what exactly do you want for yourself? What is your future plan?
I'd like you to paint me a picture of a solid retirement plan. Like, I know there are different aspects to these things. So paint me a picture of a solid retirement plan, be it for a millennial or an overage person. Earlier you mentioned macro pension for the young. So what does a solid, because I understand that there is planning and there's solid planning, like when you're sure that everything is 100%. So paint me a picture of a solid plan, and how do you actually go into it? Like, just take me as a novice, like I don't know anything about, so teach me like a school kid.
So basically the thing is, I work for an establishment that prides itself in educating the public about what we call financial fitness, and I'll explain what that means. Nowadays a whole lot of us, millennials, I always pride myself to be a millennial. And in fact, maybe I should be a Gen Z. We believe so much in being fit. In our physique, we want to look very fit, want to look trim, or being able to do some things that typically people can't do. But we always forget that other part, which is the financial part, the financial aspect of it. So imagine me having all the muscles, being strong, but I don't have that
money
that
for
money.
it.
I don't have anything to be able to carry out other tasks. Then my muscle will just be there, wasting. So we always teach people about being, financially fit, being able to say, being able to, afford things that you want. And, I mean, be able to, you don't have to think so much before you're able to afford something. So financial fitness is you thinking holistically about your finances. Your finances now, your finances in the nearest future, and even your finances even at retirement. So if you ask me again, which is how do I start, or what's my definition of a perfect financial plan? It's really about you knowing where you want to get to. So it's really is you being real to yourself. Just sit yourself down if you can do that and say, okay, what exactly do I want to achieve? What is my plan for the future? How do I see myself in the next 5? I remember starting my career, when they asked me, what is your plan for the next 5 years? It used to be a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Even now, sometimes they get a bit difficult, but I'm like, 5 years, let's talk about now. But the truth is, you need to think about the future. Whatever you're doing now will affect your future. So you need to think about the future, and that's what we do in Stanbic IBTC. When a part of a group that is over 155 years old. So it means, for us to be around for that long, it means there's something
you're doing
we're doing.
Something right.
Yeah, yes. Something right. And we pride ourselves in educating people. In as much we are in for business, but we also want to give back, educate people, to understand why they need a solid financial plan. And when you say solid, it doesn't have to be something so technical. Just start small. Right. How much do I want to put aside? How much do I want to be saving? Where do I want to get to? How much do I want to have when I retire? So that's just a simple, answer. To
so for those who do not have like a contributory pension scheme,
great.
How can they get
this?
Included in these numbers? I expect us to be doing better than 11%, really. Like for the market women you mentioned, they don't even think about pension. It doesn't cross their mind, really. So for these people that, like the Okada riders, the provision sellers, these people can all be included in a scheme, because the truth is, the reason why I like the word saving for retirement is, what if you retire before you plan to? Like, do you understand? I like to picture things that way. So maybe you planned to retire at an older age, or your business folded up. But then you now have this money stuck up somewhere that you can just fall back on and kick off again. Because I see a lot of old people fall into this type of situation where their business folds up at an old age, and then they're left with nothing. True. And they're back to square zero, where they started from at a very young age. So just to avoid all of those type of situations, how do we start including all of these people in the numbers?
Okay, fantastic question. Josephine, I won't lie to you. That number is very small, and it saddens my heart, because I've been opportune to be in a sector where I see the advantages of having a financial plan. A solid financial plan. So when I see that people don't have this thing, it burdens me, because it's something that is a bubble that is going to burst at the end of the day. Yes. So like I said earlier, part of what the industry has done, part of what the National Pension Commission has done, is to ensure that we now have what we call a micro pension. That micro pension is for, just like the banking sector is also trying to bank the unbanked. A lot of people that don't have a typical bank account. Yes, they're looking for ways to include them. Same thing the pension industry is also doing, to say, okay, for micro pension, you don't have a structured salary, you don't have a structured income, you can still put aside some money, dedicated 100% for retirement. Part of it you can have access to at a certain time, but the major chunk of it is actually for retirement. So it means that anybody can tap into this thing. You don't need to have a structured environment for you to do this. The Okada riders, like you mentioned, even a lot of people in the entertainment sector as well.
Yes.
They've not really tapped into
it as well.
Into it. So you can do it. The film industry is so large. The music industry is so large. You can actually do this thing. Have a micro pension scheme where they can always be putting money aside, at any time they can.
Right.
Not necessarily having to go to the bank, and do it right from your phone, and do that. So that is what we are preaching, and we hope that number would increase. 11 is small now.
It's small.
You can get to at least 80%. Let's know that the remaining 20% are probably the older people that are already collecting the pension. They're retired and collecting the pension. Yes.
Right. Well, this has been an interesting conversation, but we'd like to go on a quick commercial break, and when we're back, we'll continue with the conversation. Don't go anywhere.
There is time for everything. It doesn't matter if it's food, work, hobbies, or just life. Millennials are always on the go, trying to make things happen. Millennial Talk, enlightening and supporting millennials on finance and growth for personal development. Join us on Millennial Talk every Thursday by 10 a.m. Start developing yourself today.
All right, guys, we are back, and I've been having quite a fun conversation with Kunle Keshiru here. Well, we're going right into the conversation. Now, I was reading through Twitter yesterday, and I stumbled on a tweet that said at least 25% of the working population in Nigeria earns below 100,000 naira. And if we look at that, I don't even think if that is up to $100. I doubt that is up to $100, or maybe a bit above $100. And some people, we know that some people earn less. And let's even look at the minimum wage, really, really low. So if we look at all of these numbers, how do you think a working millennial population can have a retirement plan? Like someone earning 50,000 naira, for instance, how do you think they can get included? Because I know that is small. You have to hold all of the expenses you need, or you have all these expenses. And at the same time, you want to also plan for the future. So in people in those kind of categories, how can we, include them?
Okay, thanks, Josephine. Just like we've been saying right from the beginning, it's not really about how much you have. Like I said, someone can be earning, let's say, 20,000 bucks, 20,000 naira monthly, and would have more investment than the person that has $1 million. It might seem like that is not possible, but we've seen it happen. That people spend the money they have, just as it comes in, they spend it, because they know that another one is coming next month, or it's coming from the next big project that they're going to be doing. So it's not really about the money. So my advice to young people, even everyone, and because this is actually targeted at the millennials, because the millennial, this is a jet age. It's an age where there's a set of people that are very, very intuitive. We know what we want.
Exactly.
Let me claim that. We know what we want, and we always want to challenge the status quo. To say, why are we doing these things? But we always leave that retirement, that investment bit, we always leave it out. So my advice to everyone would be that no matter what you have, start small. You build a habit over time. Once you start putting aside money, typically we'll say, I mentioned financial fitness, and what we typically say when we're telling people, educated people, is that at least leave about 20% of your income. Just put it in investment. Look for somewhere, some sort of investment to put it. You can put in something that you understand, something that is safer. Just put it in a money market investment, for example. And with this micro pension that we're talking about, you do have a pension plan. You can actually put that money in that pension plan to say, okay, I'm putting this 20% there for my future, for when I retire. Retirement seems, when you say retirement, it seems like something that's very far. This is a jet age. You retire, everything is fast now. Same thing with retirement. People retire earlier than usual.
That's
typically
true.
In the old days, my understanding of retirement was
when you're 50 or 60.
In fact, 60 at that time. When the contributory pension scheme started, the average retirement age is 50. So, 50 to someone that is 30, 20 years,
Just
it's a long time. Before you know it, 20 years, when did you start the millennium? 2000, right? I can tell you everything that happened in
10 years ago.
So it just shows you how everything happens so fast. So you need to have that investment. So my two advice to people will be that first, start from whatever you have, no matter how small, start. And the second thing, yes, I didn't mention thing, is for you to ensure that you create value. Whatever you're doing, be valuable. Let people know you in that industry. If you're a presenter, let everybody know that Josephine is a very good presenter, once you bring value to the table, people will come for you. And when people come for you, it means more money.
More money.
Yes, and when you have more money, remember, investments, savings, savings, retirement. Think of those things and put money aside. For them.
Okay, so a lot of people now would be looking at, we have been saying, enter this pension scheme, enter this. They want to now know what the pros and cons, because just like you said, millennials are very intuitive. So whenever I want to do something, I always say, what's the advantage and disadvantage? If the disadvantage outweighs the advantage, I'm not doing it. So I think that's where people will be looking at things from. So what are the pros and cons when it comes to pension or retirement planning?
Okay, thanks, Josephine. So the thing is, there's nothing in this world, or let me speak for myself. I believe that there's nothing in this world that doesn't have pros and cons.
Definitely.
No matter
how
you
good
look
it
at
is.
yes, there's always a disadvantage. You can call it another name, but there's always a disadvantage to everything, and there's always an advantage. So it's when the advantage is much more or is bigger. You might have just one advantage, but that one advantage might supersede every other disadvantage, and you go into it.
Yeah.
So to answer your question with regards to what are the pros and cons of having an investment,
a retirement plan.
So let me start from the reverse. Let me start from the cons. That's the disadvantage. Although I really don't see any disadvantage, but because I've said it that there must always be a disadvantage. The thing is, so maybe the disadvantage is you don't have access to that money immediately. When you save, it's an opportunity cost, and the opportunity cost is you not enjoying that money right now. So that's the only major disadvantage that I see to investment. While there are a whole lot of other advantages. I know. So if I say to talk about the advantages of having an investment plan, just like we mentioned earlier, is you're saving for the future. You have money for the future. And you know that this saving is not just money being kept under the pillows. It's investing. So the money, there's some returns on that money. Profit, yes.
Great.
On that money. And the compound effect of money, it really can, we call it the eighth wonder, of the world, compound interest, developed by Einstein, because a 1 naira of today is never 1 naira of tomorrow. Yes, you can bring in inflation and all of that, but that 1 naira will not remain 1 naira tomorrow.
Right.
Because you've invested it.
Right.
You have one apple, the apple becomes 2 tomorrow. Before you know it, the apple and it is 2 apples that you now have to invest, not 1 anymore.
Okay.
Do you understand? So the compound effect of saving money outweighs all those disadvantages.
Right.
And another advantage of tapping into the retirement planning is it also makes you, I believe it makes you work harder.
True.
It makes you work harder, it makes you work smarter to say, okay, I want to, this is what I want for retirement. I want to be able to retire with $100 million. How do you get there? And your salary today is just 100,000 naira. It might seem like it's something that is impossible, but it's actually possible.
Right.
It makes you think and say, okay, it means that if I'm saving 20 naira or 20,000 or whatever every month, it won't get me there. So I need to save more. So it means that I need to improve on myself. I need to be able to get, a better job, or I need to be able to, do something that will get me more income and all of that. So that's another advantage of having a retirement plan. It gets you thinking right from day one. It gets you planning, and everything at the end of the day, it adds up. And another very important thing is, planning for retirement doesn't necessarily mean your money alone.
Oh.
Your time.
Okay.
All those things you're learning now, I see people that after retirement, they take up some other things, and because the things they were doing while they were active.
While they were active,
Maybe they pick up writing and all of that. So that's also an advantage of having a retirement plan.
Okay. We will put into consideration. We millennials that like Okay, so the thing is, the reason why I asked this is because a lot of people, they do, when you have a mandatory pension scheme where you work, there's a specific amount that's taken.
Yes.
But, to know that amount can increase every month is important because it's not just stuck on that figure. So if your income goes up, your money changes. That means the amount you can save changes each month.
Absolutely.
Right. And over a period of years, there's, you mean yearly, there's a percentage increase, right? And then over the years, there's more percentage increase. So guys, you've heard it here. There's a lot of benefits. And honestly, from my own point of view, I just see one disadvantage. You can't do YOLO. But every day is not for YOLO. Some days has to be for tomorrow. So that's closing in on the conversation. But regarding this, I think we've just about covered almost everything. But just in case I've missed out on anything,
Yeah.
do you have any further remarks rather,
Yeah.
on the subject matter? Anything to say to people out there watching? I know you've shared a lot of your personal ideas, but
Yeah.
still, if you have more, we always like to tap into more anointing. So please go ahead and share with us if you have more insights.
Yeah, thank you very much, Josephine. So when you call me an expert, I'm like, expert. We're all experts. I've already told you that I'm an expert in this field. You sound so knowledgeable, and I must commend you for that.
Thank you.
So final words for me, basically, I would say that I'm quite an optimistic person, and I believe that the future is bright for all of us, and that we need to start, it's bright and promising for all of us, and we need to start early. You know, while the future is bright, if you don't start early, I mean, it might be a bit tougher. It's not that there's really, it's never too late to start investing. It's never too late to start putting aside money or investing for your future. But it's always much better when you start earlier. You know? So the earlier we started, the better for us. And that's why I'm encouraging millennials. And just like I said, you guys are, we are very intuitive. We're everywhere. In fact, we're taking over the world. Millennials are ruling the world now.
We are.
But the aspect we tend to leave is this
investment.
Thinking about the future. We feel the future is far away.
It's too far.
And the future is not far at all. It's just around the corner. Before you know it, it's 20 years.
I can remember when I was 15. I'm old.
Same here, you know. Time moves
really
so
flies.
fast. So the earlier we started, the better for us. And in Islamic IBTC, what we pride ourselves in is ensuring that we educate the public about the necessity, I mean, the usefulness of investing
in your future,
usefulness of investing in your future and putting aside money for the future, which is why we talk about the financial fitness. And what we also do is to catch them young. This is what we call the financial fitness for kids, where we talk to young children, we talk to children of as young as 5 years old.
Wow.
You know, we talk to young adults, and we talk to, the teenagers as well. We tell them, talk to them about investment. We share knowledge with them. They tell us what they feel about it. And we also explain, what we understand about investment, and just to ensure that we catch them young. And that is what we pride ourselves in, in Islamic IBTC. So if anybody has, and it's free of charge, it's not something we charge people for.
Okay. All right.
So if you think you have, you want us to do that for maybe your company, or you can always call on us. We do that free of charge.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that is great. That is great. But for a lot of people asking, and personally, I've always wondered about that, because funny enough, I do my pension scheme with Stanbic, actually. So I've always had this question lingering. So when it, like, at one point, while we were discussing, you mentioned that you can take a part of your money at some point. So at what point is that? I'm kind of really curious, and I feel like a lot of people will have the same question.
Yeah. So with regards to the contributory pension scheme, the CPS as we call it, I believe that's the one you have with Islamic IBTC. The idea behind that pension is for retirement. A pension account is basically you saving for retirement.
Right.
So in retirement, as we have it today, as far as the pension is concerned, is 50 years. So once you are 50 and retire, that's 50 and you're not working.
Okay.
You can come and access a portion of your pension. That is when you take a minimum of 25% as it is today. You can take between 25 and 50%. The actual amount that you get, there are different things that will actually determine that. There's a template, as we call it, that we impute some information there.
Okay.
And the idea behind that template is such that it gives you some amount, a lump sum which you use for whatever you want to use for now. Okay. Then also puts into consideration how much you'll be getting on a monthly basis for as long as you can. So that you now be on pension, on a monthly pension or quarterly.
Okay, like our fathers were. Okay,
yes,
great,
yes.
great. And now I understand it.
So and another way you can access your pension is if you were out of employment, maybe for some reason you stopped working, and then you have some contributions in your pension, you can come and access 25% of that money after 4 months of being out of employment.
That's good information.
No, I don't want to come for it.
Definitely not.
For the future.
No, we're saying for the future, definitely. But I believe that has answered a lot of lingering questions with millennials, because we're very curious people. I'm curious. I've been curious about that, but thank you for answering that. I needed that, honestly. Well, we are moving to the fun segment now. We love the fun segment, so we get to know our guests on a personal level. So straight to it. So tell us, what do you do outside work? If you're not doing Stanbic, if you're not doing, let us know, Kunle, outside Stanbic. That's what we want to know.
Wow, that question. That's a tricky question. But being a millennial, I'll answer that question
Okay.
as directly as I can. Yeah, so like I said, I've worked all my life in Islamic IBTC, and I enjoy working here. And part of what has made me even stay this long is because they allow us to be able to do our own thing.
Oh,
so
nice.
long it doesn't breach with what
work.
the company is doing, and it doesn't breach with your time with work. So they allow us to do.
Okay.
So what I do for fun. I like doing this for fun.
Football. I'm
Football.
guessing.
I like football, but I don't know how to play football. I can't play football to save my life.
Okay.
I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way, unfortunately.
Okay.
So we've been losing for a while now. But the thing is, I love football, but I can't play it, but I love football. I also love basketball. I play a bit of basketball.
I guessed.
Yeah.
I guessed. I was right.
I play a bit of it, and
Okay.
I also, what's sport again? Okay, I also like playing pool.
Oh,
we call it snooker around here. Yeah, I'm quite good in that, yes. And like I said, I like doing it as well.
Oh, conversations.
I mean, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I
We're
like
very
having
alike in that aspect
conversations,
then. Okay, thank you for being a part of the show. It was great having you, and maybe some other time we're having a great conversation, we'd like to invite you again.
Yes.
So we look forward to it. Okay, guys, thank you for being a part of the conversation. If you have further questions, you can drop comments in the comment section and let us know what you'd like to know about this discussion. Well, if you'd like to know more about finance and personal finance, you can visit our website, www.proshareng.com. Keep watching. Till next time.